The downfall of IDubbbz and friends continues. A new video has dropped by YouTuber Willie Mac Show called IDubbbz is unironically evil. And he goes through a bunch of points that I didn't actually know about, a bunch of reasons why IDubbbz is literally the opposite of Mr. Empathy and actually just a vile, disgusting person just like his buddy Hamas Piker. Honestly, there needs to be a new college course on IDubbbz, just studying his downfall. So we're just gonna go over a few parts I found interesting. Feel free to check out the whole thing on his channel. But anyways, welcome to episode 19 of the saga. Feel free to catch up as always and subscribe, and let's reach 1,000,000 subs. So it starts with Willie Mac pointing out how Ethan is called the harasser despite his enemies being 10 times worse.
I'm sure there's anti-Semitic people that are attacking you guys, but they're not me, they're not Anissa, it's not Hasan.
I should go to the old city so I can get my fucking shit pushed in by some of the most inbred fundamentalist hicks.
The other house is just like covered in dog, and he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog. God forbid, I don't know what they do with it.
It's not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous.
We received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home.
Hasan's fans and orbiters are retweeting people saying, I'd love to swing their kid by the legs into an oak tree over and over again.
Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace.
All of this is happening and somehow Ethan is labeled the harasser. How can you not see what's going on?
Okay, as someone who learned empathy at the age of 44, I will politely disagree. When this kind gentleman here says he'd love to swing their kid by the legs into an oak tree over and over again, he actually means love. This is a swing of love. And let's be honest, they don't give a shit about the kids. They just wanted to get back at Ethan. They wanted to make his life hell in any way they knew how. You know, being anti-Semitic, calling CPS, constant harassment, human skulls in the mail, possibly, you know, signaling his children with those skulls. But no, obviously, Ethan is the one harassing people. Now, this next part blew me away. Basically, Hasan hears a statement that Ethan says. He completely changes it in his own head to something else, and then spends 10 minutes responding to something completely different, and then just agrees with what Ethan said, pretending it was different.
So I just want to give you a sample of just how dishonest this guy is. Ethan talks about Jewish heritage in the Middle East. Hasan then ignores that and argues against something Ethan didn't even say.
Hasan attempts to deny Jewish heritage in the Middle East. It characterizes them not as indigenous, but as white colonizers. This is the
Israeli heritage in the Middle East is now tarnished by, well, first of all, Israeli heritage in the Middle East. What the f is Israeli heritage in the Middle East? That doesn't exist. Shut the f up.
He didn't say Israeli heritage. He said Jewish heritage.
Talking about a 76-year process, okay? You can't really call that heritage in the Middle East, okay? But as far as Jewish heritage in the Middle East, that's valid. You can talk about individually Arab Jews and whatnot, but that's not what you're talking about. You're playing fast and loose, making this dangerous conflation between Judaism and Zionism once again, over and over and over and over again.
You're the one doing that.
Hasan is denying Israeli heritage in the Middle East. The Israeli heritage in the Middle East, you know what that is? Death and destruction, genocide and apartheid. That's the only thing that Israeli heritage is in the Middle East. If you're talking about Jewish heritage in the Middle East, that's a little different, of course.
That's literally what he's talking about. Ethan won the argument without even being there.
Hasan would honestly lose an argument to a goldfish. Bro is so out of it, it's actually insane. I swear he's on something, bro. There's no way this is his brain on a regular day. So let me get this straight. He literally hears what Ethan says, he attaches a different word to it, and he responds to that. You can't be serious, bro. Hasan is so fucking stupid. It's actually a marvel. The 8th wonder of the world. Now, just to make it more clear, this is like saying, I like vanilla ice cream, and then Hasan listens to you and says, what do you mean you like chocolate ice cream? That's disgusting. Now, if you said vanilla, then you have a point. Like, what are we even dealing with here? And the fact that his audience, like, goes along with that, like, one of the chatters did call him out, but a lot of that chat was just like, oh, yeah, that sounds about right, bro. Anyways, this next part, Hasan blatantly lies again. Now, if you've been keeping up with the series, you remember that Hasan basically tries to virtue signal at any chance possible, right? So he's like one of those guys who's like, okay, McDonald's did something bad in X part of the world, so I'm never gonna eat chicken nuggets ever again. And, you know, that logic sort of makes sense on the surface until you realize that it's pretty impossible to actually stand by that and not be a giant hypocrite, because chances are you would have to basically give up everything. Your clothes were probably made in some unethical way. Your house probably has some evil history to it. Your phone was made by some poor poor kid in China. You gotta give up your Starbucks coffee because Starbucks donated to some evil person. And on until you're basically left with nothing. Personally, like, if I enjoy the product of something, like, if I like McDonald's chicken nuggets, I'm just gonna have it. I don't care what the hell they do. Now, if it's, like, particularly atrocious, maybe I might consider it, but then I would have to check everything else I consume, which is a little too hard to do. Now, of course, we remember Hasan being confronted by his fans for drinking Coca-Cola, right? So he has fostered this type of stupid fan base. So basically, Ethan calls him out for drinking Dr. Pepper.
He can't even tell the truth about the pop he's drinking.
Hold on, what are you drinking?
It's a Dr. Pepper cream
Isn't that
soda.
who owns that?
I don't know, but it's not on the BDS
Are you
national
sure?
BDS list.
We'll double
Yes,
check.
I'm 100% sure.
Hasan is so incompetent, he came into a single Google search that shows that the owner of Dr. Pepper is a staunch Zionist. The point of this isn't that Israel is in the right or all Palestinians are bad. It's to show that he will confidently lie if it makes him look better in the moment.
Whoa, Hasan, I'm sorry. You were directly contributing to the war here by drinking Dr. Pepper. Hasan, why are you paying taxes? You know the taxes funding Israel, sending bombs into Gaza? Stop it and go to jail, Hasan. Stop drinking your drink. It's so funny when you use their own logic against them. It's like, just stop trying to virtue signal and pretend you care about this shit. And probably, like, focus on more impactful things rather than, oh, well, I won't drink my coffee here or some bullshit like that. Now, this next part, Hasan gets caught lying again. He says that some people went on a paid trip to Israel because some random, like, Twitter account said it. And he even admitted in the past that he literally just does propaganda.
And it's because he doesn't care about the truth. All he does is anti-West propaganda. It's his brand.
Just like I do propaganda.
I'm a propagandist.
Well, no.
For the record.
And when you call him out on it, he doesn't correct the record. No, he molds and hides behind the dead bodies of Palestinians to avoid accountability.
I will never forget these monstrous pieces of for looking at a situation like the one happening, the one unfolding in Gaza, and choosing to never say anything about it, only to then make these drama videos to call out the people who call out the Israeli government. It is disgusting.
Nobody cares that you criticize Israel. It's that you're making stuff up. He will then slander people for calling him out, repeating that Loner Box and Destiny were paid by Israel to go to the West Bank. The account that made the claim admits to making it up. Doesn't matter to Hasan, still reports the lie.
Also, I went on a paid trip to Israel, and that's not weird. Not weird that I went on a paid trip to Israel.
He might actually tell more lies than truths at this point, which is an astronomically hard task for a regular person. But for Hasan, it seems to be child play. He just lies as easily as he breathes. It seems to be in his DNA, you know, anything to further the propaganda, to support whatever side he's on. It's just so ridiculous. Like, why can't you ever be intellectually honest? Why do you have to lie at every single turn and try to brainwash your audience like this? Like, I pointed this out before, but if I'm ever, like, saying anything about him, I will directly show the clip which sort of supports the point I'm actually making, and I'm showing you exactly why I'm saying the thing. Like, if I say he supports terrorists, I'll show you the clip, but whenever he says something, he just never shows any evidence. And the fact that people just take his word for it shows, like, how much of a cult he's actually developed. Now, remember how Hasan says he does, like, on-the-ground coverage? Well, it turns out he was actually invited to Gaza, but he refused because he can't actually stand up for what he believes in. And I get the safety issue and all of that, but then don't pretend you're some reporter on the front lines breaking the news, you know?
If it's between me going live and giving you 10 hours of on-the-ground, 10 hours of reporting from the ground, at a critical moment, at a critical time, versus not going live that day just so I can go on Piers Morgan and fucking yell at him, I think it's selfish of me to take the Piers Morgan route.
On the ground, dude's either in his hotel suite or the third floor of his LA mansion. When told that he should go to Israel, Hasan says he can't because it would be too dangerous.
That's your argument? You got it? You can enter Israel? What's more to say? Brother, I'm not going to Israel so you can fucking execute me, okay? Stop demanding that I go to Israel. The thinking about going to Gaza thing is also kind of stupid because I was invited by literal journalists that work in Gaza, okay? And I unfortunately most likely will not be able to go because the people that I did talk to said that they could not give me security assurances that Israel would not
kill me or anyone really.
How does he think on the ground journalism works? There's a danger to it. That's why it's called on the ground. Brandon Buckingham went to Lebanon when Israel was bombing them.
Yeah, Hasan would probably call Brandon a slop tuber, by the way. Anyone who disagrees with him is automatically a slop tuber. At least this guy actually put his money where his mouth is and went to a dangerous place to do some actual on-the-ground reporting. You see, he's actually on the ground. Meanwhile, Hasan sits in his $3 million mansion pretending he deserves any of the same respect as an actual reporter who risked their lives. He really is the ultimate pussy. Then we have some live footage of IDubbbz getting metaphorically pucked, possibly physically. We don't really know that one yet, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm more extreme than Ian, where I'm like pretty anti-capitalist. I hate landlords. I hate the system that we're in.
My understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill those motherfuckers in a video game. Sorry. Holy shit. Murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
Whoa, Ian's about to get cooked live.
You know, I'm actually starting to piece this together, okay? I feel like, okay, this is just speculation, not saying this is facts, nothing like that. It's just my opinion. I feel like Anissa has a crush on Hasan, all right? And IDubbbz, you would think he hates that, right? You would think he, like any normal person would be like, oh, my girlfriend has a crush on this guy. I hate this guy, right? But no, IDubbbz is ecstatic about it because if we remember, he's Mr. Puck, right? The face of a man who likes watching. So when Anissa ended up becoming the ultimate Hasan super fangirl, and she started agreeing with everything he says and getting basically indoctrinated into the cult, she sort of dragged IDubbbz into this whole thing, right? And that's what everyone's been speculating on the internet. She's always been the trainer of IDubbbz, so to speak, right? Ian is like her lapdog who will follow her around everywhere, doing anything she wants. And it really is tragic. And, you know, I would feel bad. But again, this is a grown man, you know, a grown man who learned empathy at the age of 32, who should be able to make his own decisions. So yeah, that's pretty much where the sympathy ends for me. But I just find the whole thing hilarious. If it actually comes out later on that they had something going on there, just saying, I absolutely called it, okay? Anyways, this next part, we get a little deeper into the America deserved 9/11 comment. If you didn't know, Hasan made some even more disgusting comments right after that.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
That is someone who is extremely frustrated and passionate about a particular topic. You can look at it online.
If you look at it online, Hasan crashed out because Dan Crenshaw mentioned that military bases are an important part of national and global security.
You're not the only one that's told me this, and particularly not the only one that's told me this that has a military background, saying it's virtually impossible to prevent any of this stuff without having bases over there.
That's 100% right. Yeah. I mean, and you need that relationship with the host nation, of course, that you want to partner with. And that's generally what we do, especially in the special operations community.
Hasan's academic response was to say that Dan deserved to be raped by soldiers.
What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with this dude? Didn't he go to war and like literally lose his eye because some mujahideen, a brave soldier, f***ed his eye hole with their dick? Isn't that how he lost his dumbass eye? Because he got his eye hole by a brave soldier? America deserved 9/11, dude.
This guy has so much rage in him, and this is like an old clip as well. No wonder he's just like melting down on stream every single day. This can't be healthy, man. He's probably cut 20 years of his life from all of his rage-induced screaming. Now, it turns out Hasan's uncle actually confronts him on the whole 9/11 comment.
When confronted by his uncle on the Young Turks, Hasan backpedals, blaming it on English being his second language.
But you understand now, and not just now, but you understood fairly soon after you said it, that saying Americans deserve 9/11 is a completely different statement and one that's wrong.
No, I didn't say Americans deserve 9/11. I said America deserves 9/11.
Right, but that's
and
still
in that
wrong.
Moment, well, maybe you can chalk it up to English being my second language or whatever you want to chalk it up to.
Saying English is your second language applies to things like words you're pronouncing wrong or some words you might not know the meaning of exactly. But you just straight up condone the terrorist attack. Don't act like you didn't know what you said. What a ridiculous excuse there. That's like a Frogan. He literally pulled a Frogan. Like, yeah, American veterans deserve PTSD. Based, you know, double downing on it. And then being like, oh, well, it was actually a mistake, guys, in her apology. Like, Hasan has done the same thing. He's just doubled down on it over and over and over again. You can't say it was a slip up. Also, put some respect on your uncle's name. He literally gave you your entire career. You would be nothing without him. The rest of us had to actually make a career from nothing. You just got given everything. Multi-millionaire uncle who gave you the platform and started you on the whole politics route as well. Actual Nepo baby masquerading as a socialist, bro. Anyways, then we move on to the side character characters in this little sitcom we got going, Frogan and Denims.
On October 7th, she would write, leftists preach and foam at the mouth at the thought of revolution happening in America. But as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong. Ethan is apparently a racist for not supporting or calling for terrorist attacks. What else do you call this? Denims would argue that Israelis who do mandatory service should get Nuremberg trial, which was the execution of the 21 worst Nazis in World War II. Ethan's wife did mandatory service as a secretary, yet he is apparently the worst of the worst according to Denims.
Personally not a fan of you know, I had to do what I was forced to do. And I feel like you start getting really close to like Nuremberg trial type shit there.
Yeah, what part of mandatory military service do you not get? The word mandatory means you don't have a choice or you literally get sent to prison. Bro, imagine being an 18-year-old and you have to make decisions like that. You're obviously just gonna do what you're told and you're not gonna go to prison for this type of dumb shit. Not to mention, again, for the 5 billionth time, she was a secretary, not in the actual war, gunning people down. She did not kill a single person. But of course, Denims would have you believe she slaughtered an entire race. Now, IDubbbz tries to portray Ethan as crazy for randomly crashing out about people, but Ethan definitely had a reason to, especially this guy called Matt Lieb.
Meanwhile, Ian's saying, look how unhinged and crazy Ethan's acting. He even went after Matt Lieb.
He's finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb.
Matt Lieb is in this, like, middle tier. His valuable association is Rhett and Link. So, Rhett and Link, conveniently, are also in this category of popular and powerful men who Ethan does not want to burn bridges with. I think Ethan only respects power right now, which is one of the reasons I made this video in the first place.
The important context, Ian, is that Matt Lieb is constantly platforming Bad Empanada as a good guy.
We both have bad in our, YouTube names, and yet we are both good. What do you make of that?
Am I good? I don't know.
I think you're good.
Matt Lieb has also tweeted out, we gotta save them kids, referring to people trying to get CPS to take away Ethan's children.
Wow, IDubbbz leaving out context again. I never would have guessed. You know, as the days go on, I become more and more convinced that that might have been the single worst commentary video ever uploaded. And if you told me it would be done by IDubbbz in 2016, I would have laughed in your face. But yeah, this guy's a complete scumbag. He's supporting all of Ethan's enemies. Ethan is definitely valid to be mad at him.
They just implied that we are okay with people using CPS as harassment.
You literally just said you were okay with it.
And when other people see that he's talking about his children getting giardia from dog poop, people are quite reasonably concerned.
Is Ian okay? Did a lizard person kill him and start wearing his skin?
Yeah, actually that is one of the leading theories. You know, I posited a couple alternate theories of Dementors from Harry Potter sucking the life out of him. Lizard people is a valid theory. Skinwalkers, valid. Puck so hard he lost all his brain cells, very valid. Alien imposter, trying to observe humans and learn empathy, valid theory as well. Let me know in the comments what other theories you have about what happened to IDubbbz here. It really is one of life's greatest mysteries. Now, possibly one of the greatest clips I've ever seen, Hasan calls out white supremacy because a guy doesn't want to use a bidet. You know that water thing in the toilet?
Someone says they don't like using a bidet while vacationing in Japan. Racist.
Kind of fun in the beginning, and now it's just getting really, really annoying. I just kind of want to wipe my butt like a normal person.
Wait, what? Why is he making it seem like you have to wash your ass? Bro, here's how you want to know something about white supremacy? You want to know something about white supremacy? You can go anywhere on the planet. If you're white and you criticize something, no one thinks you're a fucking barbaric caveman. But because he's fucking white and he's in a non-white country, people still don't understand that that is literally a barbarian going, grug, That is internalized white supremacy inside of all of us.
Right, so not wanting to use a bidet is white supremacy. I mean, to be fair, bidets are pretty awesome and a million times cleaner than wiping with tissue or whatever the hell Americans do. That shit is not optimal, let's just say. But I don't think it falls under white supremacy personally. Okay, I mean, toilets are white, guys. Maybe Hasan has a point, you know, toilet supremacy. Now he talks about the Tana content cop.
The content cop Ian regrets most is on Tana Mojo, and after Ian apologized to her, she says she didn't deserve it.
But I'm more so just talking about like his actions to me, like, you know, him showing up to my show, him kind of putting me on blast, him inevitably making me kind of canceled and lose subscribers and have to apologize and all that type of stuff. I kind of think I like deserved that, and maybe that's like dark like to say, but like I don't feel like I'm owed an apology. I think I would be a completely different person if I didn't have that. I think it like I was on track to just be so on my high horse and like egotistical and like nothing could go wrong, that something going wrong gave me such a dose of reality that like this might not last forever. Like,
yeah,
you need to be held accountable for actions.
This is real growth. This is maturity.
No way, bro. Even Tana Mongu has more brain cells than IDubbbz. You can't be serious. Tana is smarter than IDubbbz. What timeline are we in?
Come on, dude. You're one step away from calling me a cuck. Just take the plunge.
You're a cuck, but even worse, you're mentally cucked. You're sitting on Hasan's stream in the cuck chair as he shits all over drama streamers, slowly realizing that you fit the description.
And eventually all of that is going to be background noise. And those people, they have a shelf life. They have a shelf life because they don't have the same fucking stubborn nature that I do. They don't have the same interests as I do. They inevitably become their own worst enemies. They inevitably cook themselves. You might think you're riding high on the slop for a little bit. You might think you're getting showered with praise. An army of anonymous Redditors telling you you're brilliant. But at the end of the night, when you go home and you sit down and you look yourself in the mirror, you're not going to recognize who you've become. That's it. It's turning into a lolcow of a different variety. That's what I think.
That's so mean.
It's mean because it's you.
Oh man, poor IDubbbz. Just kidding. F this guy. My empathy meter is in the toilet when it comes to IDubbbz. He can sit there and get pucked. He enjoys it. He has a humiliation fetish. We all know this, all right? He can relish in it. He made his bed. Now he sleeps in it. It was a great video by Willie Mac Show. Check him out. Now click this video or you gotta join IDubbbz in the puck chair and you gotta witness the entire internet pucking you in the ass for the last month straight. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.